Hi, welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today in this classic review, we're going to be taking a look at the G.I. Joe O-Ring, a real American hero, Mutt and Junkyard. And yes, I know the difference between the two of them. If I accidentally say he's Junkyard in another video, I think you guys can figure out. I probably know the majority of these characters' names. But anyway, we're going to take a look at this, and I want to give a big shout out to Cage's Customs, or Johnny Reno. He goes by two different names. Anyway, thank you very much. He helped me complete them, including the mask, the actual nightstick, and the gun. He might have given me the helmet too. But anyway, we're going to be taking a look at everything. That thing came off. I don't want to lose it. I will not be taking off the leash to Junkyard, as I'm really scared that it's going to rip. I'd really have to heat that up, but I think we'll be able to take a look at it as best as possible. We're going to take a look at this figure, and I think he's awesome. Once again, he comes with a huge loadout, and the figures were all the exact same price. Now, I don't remember being like, hey, I get more from that figure, that's why I want to get him. I think I was just always looking at how cool the figures were. But if you got a little bit more and you got an awesome, awesome dog, I think their pet figures were absolutely amazing, including like Snake Eyes version 2 and stuff. But anyway, let's get into this figure. You guys don't really want to see, but I'm going to go over the articulation. I want to hear, did you have this? Was this the only pet companion action figure that you had in the G.I. Joe line? Maybe you had them all. What was your favorite? Do you have a story about it? Let's hear about it. But before we get into this, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a classic review. Alright, so here we have Mutt and Junkyard, and again, I always like to look at the accessories first, but as a kid, this guy had so much stuff, and I don't remember saying, hey, that he has more, let's get him, but I do remember when we get a lot of stuff, it was awesome. But I never went the, oh wow, how many accessories does he come with? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I never counted it out like that. But anyway, let's get to this. So first, we're gonna start with his billy club. Now, as a kid, I always thought this was like a whip, so he could whip a Junkyard. It wasn't until recently that when I reacquired it, that I realized, oh, this is actually the rope that wraps around it. And if you look here, you got some grip right here. It kind of extends out, maybe just a little bit wider up there, but that's to wrap around the wrist so he doesn't drop it. And again, thank you to Johnny Reno, Cage's Customs, for the help with a lot of this and completing this figure. All right, he comes with his helmet, which was awesome. It has the goggles that are sculpted on there. Now this looks good, and classified, they did a solid of making sure that everything that pretty much everything that he comes with, you're going to get with the classified. But you do have like the little lip here, so like just a small little visor. But this helmet can fit anyone. Here you get his muzzle. Now, very unique to give the muzzle to the actual human and not the dog. But so here you go, you can take a look at it. You can see it kind of has like the vents there so he can breathe. This is always something that's going to be very cumbersome. There's only so much you can do. I'm sure a lot of kids probably cut this off. I'm glad this one wasn't, and it slides on them pretty well. All right, we have his pistol, or it might be a MAC-10, something like that. I think every kid loved this. I always loved, anytime I got a pistol, I always loved automatic pistols, anything that's smaller. So looking at this here, you got your grip, you got your design on the gun, all right, and then you have the suppressor. Now it does not remove, so don't try and remove it. I'm sure there are some kids that have probably cut it off, but that is a nice, decent weapon there. And it looks like it almost, I don't think it has a collapsible stock, but it almost looks like it folds out, or it's supposed to, at least the design inside of it. And then we're going to get to this guy. Now, I'm not going to take his leash off him. I would have to heat this up. I got it on. It's going to stay. So this is all my original. So this is stuff here that Johnny Reno, thank you very much. This, including Mutt, is my original. So Mutt and Junkyard are my original here. So looking at this, it has a strap so he can kind of wrap it underneath him. Anyone that has a dog knows this is exactly what you want to do, especially for a big Rottweiler like this. And this is just going to go around, all right, just like it's his leash, all right. But you can see the nice design on it. And again, this is something that I fear that it would eventually break. Now, there's no articulation to Junkyard, and that is perfectly fine. So we're going to try and look at them the best, but no paint apps. Well, I can't say there's no paint apps because it is painted down here on his underbelly, all right. So when you look here, you can see his eyes, you can see his angry face. The nose is sculpted in there. You got the floppy ears, all right. You get down and you kind of look at his paws, all right. You can kind of see where the little toes are going to be. And he's in a wonderful stance. He does have the cropped tail. And then on the bottom, they do give a little bit of paint, all right. At least from what I remember. And unless this thing wasn't fully painted, I guess I didn't look at any other designs, but I always thought they were trying to leave the belly open a little bit. A lot of dogs have that tuxedo look. I know my dog Roman does, but it's white. So there is your Junkyard. Now we're going to look at Mutt, and this guy has so much sculpt to him. So first off, we can take a look at that hair, and he has it very slick. All right, a little bit of design in it, not a lot of waves in it. His ears are just very plain. You don't see much, not like you see in the new O-rings. We got the eyebrows, and then once again, we got the paint here right on top of it, and then the dot for the eye. Now, he has this grunting or gritting teeth look. A lot of people looked at the classified, didn't know why they did that face. That's why they did the face. You have the nice mustache there, and then obviously you have your nice little nose that he has. All right, looking here, he has a collared shirt. Well, first off, he has an undershirt, then he has the collared shirt. He's wearing this brown vest, but he has these kind of like shoulder pads over top, probably in case if a dog jumps on him or attacks him, who knows. Maybe I'm just making that up. He has a knife in the sheath right down in there. Couple pockets here. Up here, he has some sort of insignia, all right? And then you look here, you can actually see where the buckles are for his whole vest. Now, would this be awesome if this had a little bit of paint? It sure would, but we're talking about going back in time and looking at this. Short sleeve shirt here, it's rolled up, goes all the way down, and you got it here. And then you have his glove. Now, he only has one glove, and many of you know, like canine officers or people that teach canines, this is a glove so they can bite and not bite through them. And you don't really notice this, you know, as a kid. You kind of knew what it was, and I mean, I knew what it was. But when you look at the big bulkiness and you stop and you look, and it no longer looks like the Power Glove from the Nintendo, you can see exactly how it's supposed to be. All right, it's completely protected. On the back here, you just got a little bit of design here, nothing major. And then you get down to the front of his waist, and here we have the belt. It looks like we have the belt loops, which I'm glad that he has them on here. You can see the belt buckle. All right, now a lot of this might have worn off, as like I mentioned, this is my original. Get the back pockets. Here we have a holster along with a pistol. It does wrap completely around. And even here you can see the little buckles right there. Nothing on this side. He has the knee pads. I've mentioned before, I always love the knee pads, the way they stuck up. Cobra Trooper had it. I just thought it was really, really cool. I don't know why. I just always thought it was. Down here, look at this. I never really noticed this, but you have some laces here that are meant to I'm assuming tie his pants so they kind of cup around the boot. And you look at the boot, you can see a little bit of texture right there, like they have wrinkles. All right, and it's like this on this side also. And looking at the boot, it looks like it's supposed to have shoelaces right there. And then obviously you have the pegs. You can see this leg is seeing better days. Now, as for loading this guy up, you know, it can kind of be difficult to get everything on him, only because if he wants to be holding Junkyard's leash, he can't fully be holding this, or you can kind of slip this onto him, I guess. All right, so we got the muzzle, which I never realized it was a muzzle as a kid. I thought it was like some breathing apparatus. I didn't understand why he would need that. Get the helmet. All right. Now, I don't like not being able to see his face. I do hate how bulky this is, but you can't really complain for that time, right? As for this little piece here, you know, you should be able to get it in just like this. So you're able to hold it like that if need be. All right, I'm not going to put too much stress either on the thumb or the leash right here, because you don't want to lose that. But we can kind of throw that there. We can take the gun. Actually, his gun is really loose right there, so we're going to use the gloved hand. That way you can actually hold it. And then if you want, you can kind of wrap this underneath if need be. So now he can kind of walk Junkyard. Although being on this side, it's not the easiest, I guess. Because the whole leash is going to move. But now you can kind of walk around with Mutt and Junkyard just like this. He is holding everything on his person, and I think that is absolutely awesome. I mean, this figure, look at all the stuff that he comes with, all right? As for his articulation, so we can kind of wrap this up here. His head does move side to side. Doesn't go completely around, all right? We're not at the point where he can look down yet. You have this perfect T-pose, a turn at the shoulders, a little over 90 degree right there. This one looks like it is about 90. He does swivel at the waist. There's your O-ring. Again, if you're wondering what an O-ring is, why these are called O-rings, is there is a rubber band that is shaped like an O. Here's Jean-Claude Van Damme, not the greatest. Be careful, you don't want to break their crotches. But this thing is really, these figures are really meant to be seated, whether it be sit at a desk, a chair, in a vehicle. And then you have your knees, which go about 90 degrees. And as you can see, not a hard figure to stand, even with the loose leg. I mean, we can just stand them just like that. So anyway, that is the review of a wonderful, wonderful Mutt and Junkyard. And yes, I do know the difference between the two. All right, so there you have it. That is my Mutt and Junkyard review. Seriously, one of the coolest figures and figure pets that there are ever going to get. The classified one knocked it out of the park. This one here, for the time, the age of what we had, just as good. I don't remember anyone ever saying they didn't want these figures, or that these were bad figures. We know there were bad figures throughout the line. These are not one of them. So anyway, tell me a story. Did you have this? Did you have to have a dog? Maybe you had a dog that looked like Junkyard. Maybe you got a dog that looked like him and you named him Junkyard. I want to hear these stories. I like being able to take everyone out of their daily lives to go back in time and just kind of relax for 10 minutes or whatever and just think about something more than bills and real life, right? Let's be honest. Real life can kind of suck at times. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. But you know what to do. Please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a classic review. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you another one right up here. And down here is going to be a playlist of all the classic reviews that I've done. Take care.